Recognize the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Meuser, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Deputy Secretary Hargan, for being with us. I represent a relatively rural congressional district, and I have concerns related to CMS's so-called competitive bidding program, particularly related to rural areas. CMS issued an interim final rule in May of 2018 that provided payment relief for durable medical equipment in rural areas and has continued the relief until the end of 2020. Mr. Secretary, can you tell me if CMS plans to continue this relief in rural areas after 2020?
Well, we do know that we are in the bidding process right now for the competitive bidding program, and that we, as you pointed out with the IFR that was issued, there was some granting of relief by the agency on that. We are hoping that this is going to alleviate a lot of the problems that are faced by suppliers in that area. We do know that there are issues in rural areas where the number of suppliers continues to decline in that space, which creates particular issues for competitive bidding in rural areas. So I think we look forward, we're going to be continuing to work in this area to figure out how to come up with solutions for rural areas that have declining numbers of providers in this area of DME.
Well, it's excellent to hear. I spent quite a number of years in the home medical equipment industry, and I feel, as many do, and I think stakeholder groups and consumer groups, that very often competitive bidding is very much of a misnomer. It's really more of the lowest price regardless of quality, patient choice, who the supplier might be, provider or supplier standards, and distance to travel usually is not often enough taken into consideration. So when and it sounds like you know a thing or two about it, which is encouraging. Before any such decisions are made, you do plan on having stakeholder input?
So with regard to winding CMS and issues like this, it's definitely being considered by the Rural Health Task Force that we've drawn together, that looks at sort of rural health and the problems that are faced by it from the point of view of all of our agencies, including CMS, including HRSA, the Indian Health Service, and others that deal with the issues of getting rural access to care. So DME is one of those issues. Obviously, CMS has taken action on this to provide relief, but we're looking forward to getting a comprehensive package of reforms together in this area and getting them out.
Again, very encouraging. That's good to hear. In the 2021 budget, there's a provision that would expand the competitive bidding program for DME into rural areas in 2024. Is this something that you believe CMS plans to move forward with without congressional approval? Can you tell me anything more about that?
So I think as of now, we're planning on basing competition on the rural areas rather than on urban areas, which we think is probably better representative of what the conditions are in those areas. So we think that has attempted to de-link in some ways the competition from areas that probably were inadvertently providing issues for rural areas. So, but we would look forward to further engagement from the community on this as we move forward, as I say, with an overall package on rural healthcare reform.
Thank you, Secretary. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.